You're on Perth City Music.
You are. That's right, and that's in collaboration with Music Link WA, bringing you everything you need to know about unsigned, independent, and talented musicians here in WA. Now, this episode, it's an extra special one, man. I mean, this episode I get the chance and the opportunity and the incredible privilege to speak to Mel Crothers. Now, she is an amazing and beautiful, brilliant singer-songwriter by her own right. And we had an awesome chat, man. We talked about everything. We talked about her music, herself being from Sydney and her upbringing and some of the challenges she faced in her life, which, ultimately translates into the music that she creates from such a raw and honest place. And, I really like her, eh? I like her, man. She's really interesting. Incredibly talented. And Mel Crothers with us. This is Music Link WA linked in with Perth City Music, the best place right now for all things local and independent and unsigned as well. I'm so glad that I finally had the chance to be able to talk to you, Mel, because, you've got like this really strong and centered sort of faith in your life right now, but you've also, on the other hand, infused that really well with like a really great musical and artistic career, and I think fans really love you for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, just because of this really nice views that you have, like how one might sort of influence or kind of play a part in the other.
Yeah, definitely. Like, as I'm a Christian and that's the faith that I hold, but it would never, I don't want to alienate anybody from the music that I create. So as much as possible, I have in the past especially, and a little bit currently now, try and produce music that, even if you're not necessarily a Christian, you can still listen to it, but it's a positive music and the lyrics are about my life and about my journey, but it doesn't necessarily mean if you're not a Christian that you can't listen to it and still enjoy it or still even, relate to things that go on, because my life's very much like everybody else's and we have the same struggles and the same worries about life. And I guess the way that I approach those things is through my faith, but it's not the only way, and it's not it's not, I guess it's not something that others can't relate to.
And so, like, they are things that people can relate to because, sadness and brokenness and dark subject matters, which you sort of do touch on your album Faithful. They are all human emotions that we can all relate to. And I wonder, just from the point of view of someone who might be getting to know your music for the first time, what sort of subject matters or themes might be a surprise to them?
A strong theme, I think, is very much about purpose in life. I think we're all created for a purpose, but I think even every one of us comes to a point where we wonder, why am I here? What's my purpose? And so that's been quite a strong theme in some of my writing is, what's the point of me being here, and what influence can I have on the world, and what gifts have I been given that I can use to influence the world for good. And one of the themes that's very strong in the songs on the Faithful album is a song called Speak, and that one I actually wrote for an organisation called Compassion, which is a child sponsorship organisation. And so that's been a big influence in writing of that song. But I think it can be something that others can relate to. We want to do something more and look beyond just ourselves in this world.
You know my faults, you see my failures, you hear my doubts and all my secrets. Heart exposed in all its pieces. Still you want me, still you want me. I can't hide when you pursue me. I can't hide. I feel safe when I'm with you. I feel safe. push you away 1,000 times. Still you hold me, still you hold me. I feel safe when I'm with you. I feel safe when I'm with you. Found a love I'll never lose. I feel safe, I feel safe. Come flood a fire, I won't hide you, I won't hide you. Come flood a fire, I won't hide you, I won't hide you. I feel safe when I'm with you. I feel safe when I'm with you. I feel safe when I'm with you. Found a love I'll never lose. I feel safe, I feel safe. Hey, I feel safe. I feel
You know, you are a musician who writes from a very honest place.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had an encounter with God when I was a teenager. I went through a scare where I was possibly going to be diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Right.
Yeah, and so that was a pretty scary time. And so the song Faithful from that album Faithful was written about that time, that I really had to cling to what I believed was that God was faithful and that he had given me promises in my life and had a purpose for me, and that I had to trust that whatever the outcome was going to be, whether I had MS or not, that he was going to take care of me and I was going to be all right. And I thank God that I don't have MS and that they actually never found out what was wrong with me at that time. But I definitely would, in some ways, I would go through that season again, only because I'm stronger for it and I have a greater faith in God because of it.
Yeah, wow. And it sounds like to me it was during that season where you wrote Faithful, where you had to ask yourself all these tough questions or go through a possible MS scare. Like it sounds like to me this is when God, of your understanding, really showed his character to you.
Absolutely. Yep. And I think anyone who's been through health scares, or there's people been through a lot worse than me, but they would say that it really makes you stop and look at why am I here and what's this all about, and
Is it safe to say that sort of embodies what the entire album Faithful is about?
Yeah, I think it's a big part of it. It is very much about looking beyond yourself and looking to a higher power and a greater influence than just the individual. And definitely speaks about that. But also the other songs, do touch on that theme as well of having a faith that's beyond my own abilities. And for me, it's in God. But for others, they might find that faith in something else.
And for you, it's in God. And it takes a certain amount of humility and it takes a certain amount of what's the word, like letting go, almost, like to be able to be honest with yourself and not to anybody else but to yourself, that you are very broken and that you are in need of a higher power. So in your case, that is God. And I wonder how, because your single Safe, which, correct me if I'm wrong, it was released this year and we're so happy and incredibly excited to share it to the world. But starting with Neo, like your debut album back in 2011, I was going to say, it's almost got, like on first listen, you've got all these Daft Punk sort of lo-fi, electronic, like even techno, like all these influences. And when I listened to Faithful, it was like, wow, she's really taken like a complete shift, like this full pivot into something new. And I wonder what contributed to that new sound?
Yeah, I think with the first album, you know, you're finding your way, and I as much as I love that album and I'm proud of it, it was very much influenced, I think, by what music I was sort of involved in at the time.
Sure.
You know, 4 years later, a lot happens in 4 years. So the type of music I was involved with is very different, and where I was sitting and was very different. And so I think that's had influence over it. And then, you know, who produces your music has a big influence as well. I'm as hands-on as I can be, but I'm not technically savvy. Nowadays you need to be quite technically savvy to produce music on your own. And so I use others to help me produce my music. And so they always bring a bit of their influence as well. And that was very much the case on the first two albums. And this one as well. But I guess now I'm sort of fitting more into the niche that I think works for me, and the arenas that I have opportunity to sing in is very much in the Christian music industry. So
yeah, for yourself for your career, that's spanned 7 or 8 years, if I'm not wrong. I mean, up until this point, I mean, from 2011 to, you know, this year 2018. So you have developed a lot as an artist. You have matured. You have found this new sound, you know, obviously in collaboration with other people, because, you know, music is always a collaborative thing. But would you say for Safe that is a good idea? Are fans able to listen to Safe and then say to themselves, okay, so this is sort of the direction that she's going now?
I think so. Yeah, the Safe would probably be the poppiest of the songs.
Yeah.
And there's a couple more that are very similar, but then there's a couple more which are more, I guess, a bit like the Faithful kind of vibe, but more modern in sound. And as I went to Nashville to record and produce this album, this next release.
Standing in your presence, letting go, not holding back. Every fear and every burden, giving all into your hands. In you I find my freedom, in you I find my strength. Your unfailing love will lift me up, you lift me up. In your presence I'm free. In your presence I'm free. You're my hope and my salvation. You're the lifter of my head. Lord, your love never fails, it never gives up. You are faithful to the end. You I find my freedom. In you I find my strength. Your unfailing love will lift me up. You lift me up. In your presence I'm free. wanting to be open wide to reveal the me that was inside. So much easier to hide. Lost in the crowd, not make a sound, just keeping to myself. But then you found me, showed me who I could be. You make me beautiful, beautiful. The way that you love me, the way you hold me tight and don't let go. I feel so beautiful, beautiful. Through the love that you've shown me. Love that you've shown me. This is how it feels to breathe in deep, enjoy the ride, not bottle everything inside. All I think about is you. All the little things you made me feel. Never thought that love could be so real. Now you have found me, showed me you love me, the way you hold me tight and don't let go. I feel so beautiful, beautiful, through the love that you've shown me. Love that you've shown me.
Produce this album, this next release. So very much wanted to have what is current in the genre that I primarily sit. I wanted to have that current sound, and most of that music is being produced in Nashville. It's kind of the centre of contemporary Christian music, and so I'll that influence from the producer, and so I used someone from over there, and I think he's done a good job.
And what other information can you give us about Safe? I mean, we know that Safe is a single that has come out this year. Any information, are you able to reveal to us anything about the album it might be on, or?
Yeah, so there's another single coming in the next few weeks. And then I'll be releasing an EP in probably February. It'll be finished before then, but we want to avoid Christmas. No point around Christmas because no one's around and listening. So we're going to hold off and early next year for me as an artist, but also for people who are listening. They get to hear some new stuff more.
That is the hope, and you're absolutely right. I mean, just the way that, and this sort of struck me the other day as well. Like, I'm working with people at the moment at Music Link WA who, probably that they've actually seen the evolution of music go from cassette tapes to CDs to radio to now streaming, like all the different types of ways that people have consumed records or like listen to them or try to get them out. So yeah, I find it really interesting how you would make that statement about how music and the way that we listen and consume music nowadays has changed, and how that has actually influenced the way that you are planning your next steps?
Absolutely. I think people don't even buying a digital album now is a less common thing. So whereas 5 years ago people would buy an album on iTunes or something, even that has changed in such a short period of time to now people just stream. And you want to, as an artist, what your aim is to get on big playlists that have really far reaches so that you get as many streams as you can just by being on a popular playlist. That's kind of the ultimate, I think, now for a lot of artists, especially independent artists, to try and get on those playlists.
And hopefully Safe will be on the playlist of 2018. Let's talk about the Compassion Project now, because I know it's something very important to you and important to the community that I suppose I could say we are a part of. So what is the Compassion Project?
So Compassion Australia, I'm an ambassador for. And
sorry, Compassion Australia.
Yep, they're an international organisation, but specifically I'm involved with the Australian part of it. And it's a child sponsorship organisation. So people commit to sponsoring a child. They get a profile, a picture of that child. They can write letters to that child back and forth. The child writes letters to them. And you get a monthly financial payment, and that ensures that they get education, food, clean drinking water, healthcare, and also any other community needs that they need. About
so
that,
amazing.
And I've been to the field. I've been to Haiti and to Indonesia with Compassion, and I've seen the work firsthand and sat in people's tin shed homes and heard about the stories of transformation. When a child gets sponsored, then they are able to go to school, and you just never know the potential in a child's life. And that's one of the things I love the most about it, is that I could be sponsoring a child and helping a child who will become a leader in their country, or could become a doctor that saves lives. And they would never have been given that opportunity had I not just given something small a month to see them get their education and become healthy and strong.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. And if people do want to sponsor a child, like what can we do? What can they do?
Yeah, you can go to Compassion's website, compassion.com.au, and there are children there for sponsorship all the time, and you can read a bit more about what it means to sponsor, and also you can sponsor directly online. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mel. I think I've covered basically just about everything. But just before I let you go, and thank you so much for your time. I know you weren't feeling extremely well last week, but I'm glad you're sounding.
Braced for doing it this week.
No, that's okay. You're sounding a lot better today. I just before I let you know, before I let you go, sorry. Are there any last words you'd like to let us know? Any final thoughts on your music or anything, or anything we've talked about? Any final thoughts?
No, just thank you for the opportunity, and thanks to Music Link and to listeners for listening to independent artists. And it's really hard to be an independent artist, especially in Australia. So as much sort of exposure as we can get is really appreciated, and I love that your listeners are supporting local artists as well. It's great, so thank you.
No worries, it was a pleasure to speak to you, Mel.
Thanks, Daniel.
And thank you for listening as well. It's always these in-betweener seasons, summer and autumn. We've got summer coming up, but the in-betweener seasons, autumn and spring, they are the best. But on days like today, you can really feel the energy shift, and on days like today, it really feels like people need to hear this more than ever, so hopefully that has contributed to that. If so, support, stream it, share it, add it to your playlist, and spread it with your friends. Mel Crothers, the people who need it the most. An amazing singer-songwriter, gospel artist, worship leader, author, public speaker, just an all-round champion, entertainer. It's amazing. If you ever want to submit any of your music, head on over to Music Link WA or perthcitymusic.com and you can submit your tracks. It's been myself, Daniel.